Hello YouTube viewers, welcome back to my channel. I am Sri Tips and welcome to part 2 of my stock pot refining video. In part 1 we took a look at the reactivity series of metals and how important that is in refining. And today what we're going to do is go ahead and start the refining of the stock pot. It's been settling for about 3 days now, so without any further talk, I'm going to get right to it. The stock pot is sitting right where we left it 3 days ago. It's been left undisturbed so that we can allow all the solids to settle out to the bottom of that container. I've got a small block of wood that I set the container on to tilt that container forward towards me, so it makes it easier to siphon off more of the liquid. I don't want that tube going down into the solids down at the bottom of the stock pot and siphoning off any of the solids into my waste container there. The solution that I'm siphoning off here should not have any particles of precious metals because I've allowed that thing to settle for 3 days. But just in case it does, what I'll do is the 2 3-liter jars that I'm siphoning the liquid to, I'm going to cover those up and then I'll set those off to the side. And before I siphon the liquid out of those 3-liter jars, I'll let the solids settle out if any came over. And then I'll siphon the solution out of those jars into my waste container. I'm making this up as I go. I've got a beaker here with a plastic strainer in it, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and try to strain out any pieces of copper that might still be in the stock pots. We're going to go ahead and pour this right through the strainer now. Ooh, yeah, look at all that mud up in there. Pour this right through the strainer and get all the pieces of copper out of there now. It's a plastic strainer. I can't use a metal strainer here because that's an acidic solution and it will eat right through a metal strainer. And we're going to get a good look at what we got in here now. Still some metal up in there. Lots of black junk. I'm going to try to get all that down in through the strainer. Alright, here we go. I'm going to rinse it with some water down into this strainer. Oh yeah, look at all that mud coming out of there. Holy cow. Still some pieces of copper in there, which is what we want to see. We want to keep copper in this thing at all times. Black powder is precious metals that have been cementing out on the pieces of copper in here over the last 3 years. Alright, I think I pretty much got everything out of there. Here's what the inside of the empty stock pot looks like. Piece of metal down there or something. But what I'll probably end up doing here is putting a little bit of aqua regia in there and see if we can get the bucket cleaned out. Here's a lot of mud in here. I'm trying to get all the pieces of excess copper and those plastic fittings. I want to get those out of there. So I'm just going to go through this and start picking everything out piece by piece. what it is. There's something about doing this kind of work right here, picking these little bits out one piece at a time. It's just very appealing to me. I don't know why. I just like doing it. I got just about everything out of there. All that's left is a bunch of granules of stuff here. I want to emphasize one more time that I'm making this up as I go. I got a bunch of solids here in the strainer. Instinct tells me to burn this, to incinerate it, but I don't think I'm gonna try putting that in a beaker and just see if I can get it to dissolve in some aqua regia. I'll probably end up regretting that. Down here, I don't know if you can see, right there is the level. This is a 4-liter beaker, and that's a good probably inch depth of material that's settled out from this solution. If you look over here at the Reactivity Series, I've got copper in there. I shouldn't have any silver, so it should be okay to go straight aqua regia with this. I was real strict about what I put in here. I only put gold refining waste and platinum group metals. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and rinse this into a beaker and hit this with some aqua regia and just see what happens, and allow this stuff in the solution here to settle. Here's the junk and the plastic that I removed out of the strainer. I'm just going to set this off to the side. I'm going to put a clean beaker down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this strainer and try to get this material down inside this beaker here, like so. I've got a little bit of hydrochloric acid here, and what I'm going to do is rinse the junk out of the strainer there. That should be precious metals. And I'm going to try to hit this with some aqua regia and see what happens here. Okay, I got it all out of the strainer there. Turn the fan on, put this up on the heat. I'm going to start adding small doses of concentrated nitric acid. Now I'm going to add some small doses of nitric here. See if we can get some of this stuff to go into solution. That's about 3 ml. It's another 3. That's 9. That's 12 ml. Get this piece up here of concentrated nitric acid. In this shot, you can see some scum and some bits of paper in there. That all would have been eliminated if I had incinerated this material before I added the acids. I'm going to quickly add a couple more ml of nitric here. It's about 3 more ml. I got about 2.5 in there. Get a quick stannous test here before I siphon this solution off. I don't think there's going to be anything in solution here, but we're just going to double check, make sure with some stannous. And no kind of reaction there. So what I'm going to do, this material is in a finely divided state, but it's settled to about right there. I'm going to siphon this off and get some aqua regia on it because it's in a finely divided state. If I just leave it sit there, it could have a tendency to want to go back in solution. So I'm going to siphon this off and start dissolving the settled out solids. It's been settling now for about an hour and a half. This solution is waste. It'll be siphoned off to my waste treatment bucket after it settles. Set a cover on here, and I'll let this settle off to the side. Any solids that settle out of here, I'll decant the solution into my waste bucket, and then put the solids that settle out into my stock pot, my new one down there. Okay, this is our prize. This is our solids that we've been, oh yeah, it looks like a very fine silted mud. Oh my goodness, that's really gonna be something, man. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and get some aqua regia on this and some heat and see if we can get this to dissolve right quick. Here we go. I'm gonna add some hydrochloric acid to this mud in here. You can see it's a nice fine mud with not a lot of big particles in there because I strained them out with that strainer. So I'm just going to add some hydrochloric acid here. I'm going to go up to about the 750 ml level. It was already at the, well, I'm going to go to the 1000 ml level. It was already at just below 500, so I've added almost 500 ml of hydrochloric acid there. Cover it up, stick it up here on the heat. Now this one, since it's finely divided, has the potential to flare up when I put the nitric acid in there, so I'm going to have to add this nitric real slow. I'm going to go ahead and add about 6 ml, I guess, right now. There's 3. And there's about 6. I'm just going to let that react and just see where we're at with this. This side over here has got 15 ml of concentrated nitric in it, and it's been on now for about 25 minutes. I'm going to add another 1 ml of nitric acid here, and we'll see what it does. It's about 1 ml. I've got 16 ml in here of nitric. Over here I've got 6 ml. I'm going to add another 2, but I'm going to go real slow over here. The last thing I want to do is get too much nitric in there and have that thing boil over on me and lose a bunch of metal because of a boil over. So I got 9 ml of concentrated nitric in there now. I'm just going to let that go for a while. It's 12:30 a.m. in the morning right now. While I'm waiting for this one to react, I'm going to go ahead and get in here and see if I can get a little bit of the solution on a test strip here, and then do a Stannis test. See what kind of reaction we get here with this. Now we got some gold or something going in solution. It looks like a brown stain with a little bit of orange at the top. I'm going to give this one a gentle swirl here. Oh boy, there it comes. Yeah, that's finely divided material. This has the potential to runaway reaction on me, so I got to really be careful putting the nitric in here. Got to put it in real slow. I turned the heat off and went to bed last night, and it's the next morning. Both solutions are boiling. This one I've got 27 ml of nitric in there off camera. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm getting some kind of, looks like gold coming out of solution there. Metallic gold floating on top of the solution. Over here I've got a bunch of crystals forming on the side of the beaker here. I mean, the solution's got a light oil going on, and I'm not quite sure what all that is. I mean, this is the first time I'm having this combination of metals all in solution all at one time. So there's some weird things going on here that I've never seen before. But clearly that's metallic gold coming out of solution back there in the back. The only conclusion that I can come to with that gold coming out of solution in there is that the gold is being displaced by the platinum group metals that are in the beaker. Now, in my refining experience, gold goes into solution much quicker and easier than any of the platinum group metals. One of the viewers pointed out that I had these two here down at the bottom inverted, that gold is less reactive than the platinum group metals. And what I'm seeing in this container here supports that. The only conclusion I can come to here is that the gold is being displaced by the platinum group metals that are in the container. That's why I'm seeing metallic gold there. Gold is coming out of solution on the platinum group metals in accordance with the Reactivity Series of metals. I got this list off the internet, and apparently one of my viewers pointed out that these two metals are in the wrong spots here on the list. The platinum should be above and more reactive, whereas the gold should be below, being less reactive. And what I'm seeing in that beaker proves that to be correct. I want to get a status test of this solution here, but I don't feel like sticking my hands down inside that beaker because there's going to be platinum group metals going into solution. So what I'm going to do is I got a little bamboo skewer here. I'm going to split it in half up here at the top. And then I'm going to take a piece of filter paper here. Open this up. Come on. Stick my filter paper down in there. And then now I got a way to get down in there and got to stick my hand in the beaker. Get a status test now. It's important to emphasize here that platinum group metals in solution are very, very toxic. You don't want to get any of this solution on you. You don't want any of the vapors even getting on your skin. And you sure don't want to be inhaling any of this stuff. So I'm going to get a quick status test on this, see where we're at. Oh yeah, we definitely got orange going on. Lots of platinum in there, I can tell. Big time. And palladium. Okay, I'm going to get a test of this one here. Drop a status on it. And you can see it's a different composition of metals. I still see that orange tint up along the top. And then we got some gray going on, so there might be some gold there. Not gray, some purple. Okay, I'm going to get a shot of the bottom of this beaker. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got some little pieces of metallic particles dancing around in there. I don't know what those are going to be, but I think I got pretty much everything to go in solution here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off on this one and let it cool down. I'm going to add add 3 more ml of concentrated nitric acid to the big beaker here. Add it in real slow, make sure I don't get a boil over. I only got about half of it in there. As you can see, it's hot and it's reacting vigorously because those particles down at the bottom of the beaker are finely divided. So I got about 2 ml in there, so we're going to put 29 here. I think I can go ahead and get the rest in there. Well, I better wait. Be safe than sorry. Give it a quick swirl here. We don't get too much of a big reaction with this. It's not bad. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the ml here. 1 more ml of concentrated nitric should be okay. Whoa. Better add it slower than that there, KA. Oh boy. Thank you. Alright, now we got 30 ml in there. Just want to take a look at these 2 tests. This is from the big beaker, and this one is from the smaller beaker. It's got some green up here and around the edges, which tells me I got palladium and gold in solution. This one's got more of an orangish brown color, which tells me that there's going to be some platinum in there and some gold. Got another 3 ml of concentrated nitric here. I'm going to add it real slow to this beaker. I'm adding it drip by drip. Lots of finely divided particles down in there. Real hot. It reacts very vigorous with the nitric acid that I'm putting in. Got it all in there. It's another 3 ml, so that means we've got 34 now. Let's take a look and see what we got down in the bottom of this beaker. And then after we take this look, I'm going to add a little bit more nitric to this. And I think I'm going to wrap this part of the video up. This will be part 2. And we got a little bit of sludge down on the bottom down there. Not quite sure what that is. It's kind of, it almost looks like sand or something. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add another dosage of concentrated nitric here. There's still some solids down there. I'm going to add a little bit more concentrated nitric, and then whoops, I'm going to conclude this part of the video and I'll get this posted. That's about 2 ml right there. Not very much of a reaction. Just stir it up a little bit here. Reacting very strongly there, so we might be getting towards the end of the process here. I'm going to get one last stannous test here before we wrap this up, and let's see what we got. It's much darker now, much darker, and I think we got a lot of the metals to go into solution there. You can see there's some orange around the upper part of it there. That's going to be platinum. This might be gold. I don't know. Like I said, I'm flying blind here. This is the first time I've processed this much material all together, and the first time I've ever done my stockpot, so we'll see. I've added a total of 37 ml of nitric. I'm going to add another 3 ml here. And as you can see, it's not a very vigorous reaction, which is telling me that we're getting towards the end of getting everything dissolved. So now I've got a total of 40 ml in there. Both of my solutions are getting a little bit dehydrated here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some hydrochloric acid to each one to rehydrate. I've been working on this process now for about 8 hours here. So you want to put about 200 ml in here just to rehydrate it. Then I'm going to fill this back up to, it's down to the 500 ml level. I'll fill it back up to the 100 or 1000 ml level. So I think what we'll do is we'll do a little review here when I get done adding this acid and see where we're at, and we'll wrap this part 2 of the video up and go from there. Do here is go ahead and add a little bit of hydrochloric acid to this bucket. Just about maybe 250 ml or so. I'm going to add a small shot of nitric acid to form aqua regia in there. Maybe about 10-12 ml or so. And then we'll put the lid on this bucket and just let it set. What that should do is dissolve off all the precious metals off the walls and the bottom of that bucket. I'd like to do a quick review of where I am here. Here's our old stock pot. I've got some aqua regia in there to try to dissolve the metals off the walls of the bucket there. And as you can see down at the bottom there, it's starting to work. I'll just keep this covered up with some aqua regia on it, and then I'll add that to my stock pot, my new one. Over here, I've got all the pieces of copper that came out when we poured the material through the strainer. The plastic pieces, I'll probably end up just throwing those away. The little pieces of copper, I'll add those to my new stock pot. Down here, we've got the 2 3-liter jars that we siphoned the waste solution off into. And what I'll do is I'll let these settle for a couple days, and then siphon the material, or siphon the liquid off into my waste bucket, and then any precious metals that settle on the bottom of these containers, I'll add that to my new stock pot. This is the solution that we siphoned off after straining the material. It might have a little bit of solids in it. I'll do the same thing with this. The solution will go in my stock or my waste treatment bucket, and any sediment that forms down here will just get added to my new stock pot. Back here, we've got the small beaker that had the chunks from the plastic strainer. I went ahead and dissolved those in aqua regia, and then over here we had the mud that was in the bottom of the container, and I believe we've got all that dissolved now. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and conclude part 2 of the stock pot refining video.